In a development stirring echoes of Ferrari's turbulent past, Lewis Hamilton's early struggles with the SF25 are drawing a striking comparison to Sebastian Vettel's 2019 season. According to none other than former Ferrari engineer Luigi Mazzola, this isn't internet speculation or fan drama, it's insight straight from someone who's seen Ferrari's inner workings up close. Mazzola, who served years behind the curtain at Maranello, has publicly drawn a line between Hamilton's current adaptation woes and the exact performance ceiling Vettel faced just years ago. What's unsettling about this? Vettel, a four-time world champion, didn't just slow down. He was systematically eclipsed by a rising Charles Leclerc. Now, we're watching that same scenario unfold, as Hamilton, arguably one of the greatest drivers in Formula One history, finds himself off the pace, off balance, and searching for grip both on track and metaphorically within the team. What's more, these aren't normal growing pains of a driver switching teams. The suggestion is clear: there's something deeper, something mechanical, perhaps even philosophical within Ferrari's car design that resists change and challenges even the best. Let's dive into the heart of Mazzola's argument: the car. The SF25, Ferrari's latest weapon, isn't just complex, it's borderline hostile to anyone who doesn't mesh perfectly with its characteristics. And here lies the core of the issue. Mazzola isn't blaming Hamilton for struggling. He isn't even retroactively blaming Vettel. He's pinpointing the machine itself as the common denominator. According to him, the SF25 is fundamentally difficult to drive, a machine that demands not just talent, but a very specific type of talent. And as of now, only one man on the grid seems to have figured it out: Charles Leclerc. Mazzola compares Leclerc to Max Verstappen, not just in raw pace, but in the ability to wrestle brilliance out of a beast. In other words, Leclerc has adapted, and adapted quickly. Hamilton, new to the team and unfamiliar with the car's violent tendencies, is still trying to find harmony. This isn't a plug-and-play situation like Red Bull's synergy with Verstappen. Ferrari's SF25 isn't user-friendly. It's a technical wild animal, and right now, Leclerc is the only one who's tamed it. It's a script we've seen before, and it's playing out again with uncanny precision. In 2019, Sebastian Vettel, a driver with 4 world championships and years of dominance, found himself struggling in a machine that clearly favored a different driving philosophy. That same year, a young Charles Leclerc arrived and almost instantly began outperforming the seasoned champion. Why? Because the car's development had begun to lean toward Leclerc's aggressive rotation style, his sharp inputs, and his quick front-end response preferences. Vettel, with a smoother and more conservative technique, found himself out of rhythm. Fast forward to 2025, and the scene is eerily similar. Lewis Hamilton, armed with 7 titles and over a decade of Mercedes DNA, is behind Leclerc at every Grand Prix. The disconnect isn't due to lack of speed or motivation. It's in the foundational feel of the car itself. The SF25 wasn't built with Hamilton in mind, and now he's racing to catch up not just to his teammate, but to the car's inherent language. Sound familiar? Because Ferrari, it seems, is still writing from the same playbook, and their newest legend is trying to read between the lines. Despite the mounting pressure, Lewis Hamilton isn't folding. He's facing the storm with brutal honesty. After a tough run in Bahrain, where he was significantly off Leclerc's pace, Hamilton didn't point fingers. He didn't blame the team. Instead, he delivered a brutally self-reflective statement: "I'm just not doing a good enough job." For some, that might sound like defeatism, but for Ferrari's team principal Fred Vasseur, it's music to his ears. In a statement only Vasseur could make sound both harsh and hopeful, he said, "I liked that he was down." Strange as it sounds, what Vasseur saw wasn't a crumbling icon. It was a competitive perfectionist ready to rebuild. He understood that 12 years of Mercedes habits wouldn't disappear in 2 races, and that Hamilton's humility was actually a weapon in disguise. Ferrari isn't expecting overnight miracles. What they want is commitment, growth, and above all, adaptation. And in Hamilton's quiet self-critique, Vasseur found the ultimate reassurance. This wasn't a man out of ideas, but one determined to master the machine no matter how painful the process. Then came Bahrain. While Saturday's qualifying was dismal for Hamilton, the Sunday race told a different story. A story of grit, focus, and perhaps the first glimmer of synergy. Starting from P9, Hamilton methodically climbed to P5 with no chaos, no safety cars, and no gimmicks. Just cold, clean execution. After the race, Hamilton called the second stint the first time I felt aligned with the car. That comment, seemingly subtle, is seismic in the context of Ferrari's struggles. For the first time, the car wasn't fighting him. It was cooperating. This wasn't luck. It was the result of incremental adjustments, both in setup and mindset. It wasn't a breakthrough in lap times. It was a breakthrough in understanding. And most critically, Hamilton said he probably learned more that weekend than in all previous races combined. That kind of statement doesn't come from a veteran on autopilot. It comes from a legend actively reinventing himself. Bahrain didn't just give Ferrari points. It gave them hope. The most compelling narrative arc here isn't about failure, it's about reprogramming. Lewis Hamilton, the driver who built an empire at Mercedes, is now slowly deconstructing and rewiring his instincts to suit the SF25. He's shifting away from the traits that made him dominant and embracing a whole new driving philosophy. He's drawing closer to Leclerc's setup, abandoning what's familiar in favor of what works. This isn't about being outperformed. It's about evolution. And in that evolution lies the warning shot to the rest of the grid. Because once Hamilton stops trying to force his identity onto the car and instead starts dancing with it, matching its rhythm, respecting its quirks, that's when the real danger begins. This isn't Vettel 2.0 as some are speculating. This is Hamilton 2.0. And when a seven-time world champion starts evolving mid-season with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove, it's only a matter of time before the podiums follow. All eyes now turn to Saudi Arabia, a circuit that, on paper, should flatter the SF25. It's smooth, grippy, and low on tire degradation. For Hamilton, it's a perfect lab to test everything he learned in Bahrain. If he starts the weekend with momentum, nails the setup early, and continues building that rapport with the car, this could be the true start of his Ferrari era. Not the preseason hype, not the media circus, but the actual moment he begins to look like the Lewis we know, just wearing red instead of silver. The Saudi GP offers a canvas for Hamilton to paint his comeback story, or at least sketch the outline. But it also poses a risk. If the car still resists, if the gains vanish, then Ferrari's development direction comes into serious question. It's a weekend that could signal the ignition of something big, or the return of the same old ghosts. So where do we stand? Is Lewis Hamilton on the verge of a triumphant reinvention at Ferrari? Or is Mazzola's warning a red flag the team can't afford to ignore? One thing is certain, this isn't just another driver-team mismatch story. It's a saga of legacy, ego, engineering, and adaptation, all unfolding under the brutal spotlight of Formula One. Hamilton isn't falling, he's recalibrating. And if Bahrain was a preview, Saudi Arabia might just be the pilot episode of a season-long redemption arc. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Is the fuse already lit? Or is Ferrari once again gambling with greatness? Subscribe to Auto Intel because we don't just chase headlines, we chase the truth.